When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
Our topic for today, we're going to use a specific listener question, but it actually applies to a number of different things in our lives. And we're going to talk about how if you've had an experience in the past and you want to create a different experience and you're kind of worried about bringing the old experience into the one that's about to come up. That was a long way to explain that. I don't know how to shorten that. Do you have any other way to explain that, Cass?
Just if you've been through something before and you don't want to go through
Recreate
it again.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
That much more simplified.
Yeah, exactly.
Not recreating past experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you excited about?
I'm excited about our birthdays.
Me too. Mine's tomorrow. Yours is in 3 days.
Yes. I'm so excited about it. And I think this year more than anything is like, it's just like that concrete. It's always like what a difference a year makes, you know? Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's so many things that's just like, ow, like a year makes a huge difference.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I am a whole different person than I was last year.
Right?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also very excited about, I just booked tickets to Denver.
Yay! I'm excited about that too. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was super cool. Like, it was an automatic, it was kind of unexpected. I'm like, oh yeah, booking tickets, whatever. And then I booked them, and then we booked a place in Boulder for a few days, and I just got like this instant reaction of like excitement to be in mountains and to have a trip. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So it was super cool.
Oh, so awesome.
Yeah. I'm also excited about one more thing.
Yeah, of course.
I got the first notification for the immigration thing that's going through. So I had my first appointment on Monday. So that's all rolling. And it was I didn't expect this, but I just remembered now this morning, Lisa was like, if you get deported to Canada, I'll just come with you. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's what I've always wanted. And because there's a little bit of underlying like, oh man, what if, I get turned away or something for some reason.
Right.
And I always wanted that relationship where like the relationship is a priority, and it's like being together is like, that's the most important thing. And everything else will fall into place after that.
That's so awesome. And
yeah,
like this plays perfectly into our topic for today.
Oh, why don't you start with that?
Yeah, but so, our topic today, just really quick, just a reminder that Manifest It Now Live is coming up, and you can go to manifestitnowlive.com and see Jenny in Colorado with me. So Lisa's like, it's okay, right? Like, it's okay, I'll just follow you. Like, it's surrendering to whatever is, right? And like, even though you've never been deported, so it's not totally our topic.
Well, actually, if you want to get into the details, I have been turned away once.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, it's being okay, which once we get into the topic, this is what you do when how not to create the same situation is you get okay with it, right? Like, okay, if you get, like, if that's what happens, like, it's okay. And it's really going into, okay, well, like, that'd be cool. Like, it's not like your favorite plan, maybe, but it would be fine. It'd work out. Lisa's like, sure, we'll do that. And it's just a different adventure, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it's so much about the attitude and how you're approaching the stuff that comes up in your life. And you can walk through life and you can think, it's got to be this way. And so whatever comes into your life, and if it fits, great, you're happy. If it doesn't, it's a struggle and it creates resistance right away because I have to make this fit. This isn't a part of my plan, or this isn't how I thought it would turn out. And so that's what creates that original angst or discomfort. But if you are approaching life, if you're looking at whatever comes into your life with this attitude of like, oh, this must be perfect for me. Oh, didn't think the adventure would go this way. Firstly, I love looking at life like an adventure, period. If you guys have seen me live, I have this sign beside me that's like, life is a grand adventure. And I love that word even is like, oh, this is an unfolding. It's fun. It's going to be mysterious. It's going to be a little bit unknown. But that's what life is. And so approaching it like that is super powerful to begin to kind of get ahead of those things where we might get blocked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love it. And I want to make this, determination. Hopefully I can make it clear. Like there's looking at it like, oh, this is an adventure. Like this is awesome. This is unfolding. And there's like surrendering and being okay. And then there's obviously the like being mad about it or not happy with it, which is what you discussed. And there's this third one that's like, I try to make it okay, but it's really not okay. It's never that really full surrender. It's like trying to like make it positive, but it's not. But it's and that is not where you want to be. Like that doesn't create more of what you want. Right? Yes. The magic place is that surrender, like, okay, this is an adventure, like this is gonna be awesome. Or, how is this gonna work for us, right?
Yes. I want to highlight these 3 parts that we just defined because they're super important. And I think you guys will all be able to see and relate to different times in your own life when you've been in either one of these. So you're either 2 feet in and you're like, okay, let's go. This is an adventure. And you're fully accepting whatever comes into your life. There's the other side of that, which is like, I don't want this. Wasn't supposed to be the way I thought. It feels very uncomfortable and it's a struggle. And then I would probably say most of us are somewhat in the middle, especially when you're learning this work and you're learning to be deliberate. There's the part where the original reaction is like, I don't like this. This isn't what I thought. But you're aware enough to like try to use your thoughts and feel and come into alignment. And so you're thinking about a little bit on this side and a little bit on this side. It's okay, well, this is the good reasons, but I actually feel this reason. So in that middle place, your head, you're trying to get the right thoughts, but your feelings are still kind of on the other side. And you're just kind of having this like inner battle in between you. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that, Cass?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the key getting to that like really freely allowing places is this actual surrender.
Mm-hmm. And I want to tie this back. I know we've had a lot of awesome feedback on our long game versus short game episodes that we did a little while back. Mm-hmm. This is really long game stuff because when you're playing the long game, I'm going to use the Jenny and Lisa example. Like long game, we're together and we're happy and we're married, right?
Right.
The things along the way we can surrender to those and we can see those as adventures, right? Because I can see someone out there, like one of our listeners, being like, well, but don't I create my own reality? So am I just supposed to surrender to all the things I don't like, or am I supposed to change it?
Yeah, that's great. No, that's a really great question.
Yeah. So what would your answer be?
So wait, I want to come back to just that example for a second first. Because someone could look at that. So if I get deported and Lisa has to, they could be like, oh my gosh, she has to quit her job. She has to change her whole life. You have all the pets to move. You have to get a new home. Like but those can all be problems or they can't be, And so identifying what you can and can't control in these situations. So if that happened, I hope that I'm not putting energy into this.
You're totally not. And we're talking about it today. Like you're so good with it that it's unlikely to happen, right? It's when we have that like, oh my gosh, I don't want that to happen.
I don't feel fear about it.
No, but you feel like, okay, this would be cool. And I actually think what we're doing is one of the best things that you can do. Like getting okay with every aspect of that thing that you like isn't necessarily what you want, but really being able to see it as the adventure. And like you went through, okay, like, yeah, I move the pets. Okay, well, maybe they get this and that means this and that means this opportunity. Like really playing in that like being so okay with that possibility, I think actually makes the other possibility more likely because there's zero resistance.
100%. I 100% agree. Because exactly that. You're living in the place of allowing. Mm-hmm. And so the best path is going to unfold. Yeah, so I forget where I was talking about that, but...
the choices and what you can control, like she might have to get a job and move the dogs and all this other stuff.
So if that'll happen, like we can't change that... the government's decision in that moment. Like eventually, yes, in long term. So we're not going to try to push against that or control that in that moment. We still know, and this is where the trust in yourself comes in and that faith that we talked about. We still know we're going to be together. We still know we're going to be happy. Like a government's decision, I'm certainly not going to give anyone else control or power over how I experience my life. And so it's kind of like making the best of the things you can't control that are coming in and knowing that you're still moving towards the ultimate vision and experience that you want, that you've decided you're going to have in your life, and not letting these external things, these external temporary things that you can't control affect that.
Right.
So with that question of like, well, what about like I'm a creator of my own reality, so can't I have what I want? Yes, you can have what you want, 100%. Like you would still be getting it's just the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. So tell me if you agree with this, Cass. I 100% believe we create our experiences. I don't believe we control all the details that come in.
100%.
Right. And sometimes we get caught up in that as manifestors. We think, because you're told that, and there are parts that are true. Like, if you want this house, you can have this exact house. And you can, that's a possibility, but there's a lot of factors about that you don't get to control, you know?
Mm-hmm. And so... Oh, you mentioned house. Oh, go ahead. I was going to give an example, because we talked about my house, right? So the house that we didn't get that someone bought, someone's actually fixing it up nicer. It's going to go back on the market.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. We could have had that house, and yet the path was just taking us to the best house for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the ultimate things to remember and realize is that your path is always unfolding. Like you are meant to have an abundant, joyous life. Mm-hmm. And so you trust your path is guiding you there. Let go of making your decisions or like assigning meaning to the things that might show up or the conditions that might show up into your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And stay
go ahead, sorry.
No, that's it. I was just saying staying committed to that vision helps a lot.
Yeah. And let go of the thinking you know it all. Like it's because we are ourselves. We like to think we know everything about what we want, right? And yet there's a bigger version of us that actually knows more that we might not be conscious of. And so often our path is leading us like to the bigger thing. Like we have a vision of like, oh, I want this 4-bedroom house. Oh, but like the 6-bedroom house, that's even better. Right?
Yeah. It's so cool. I don't know if I've mentioned this on air, but there's things about that that I have with my relationship with Lisa that I never even like clarified or identified, but once I experience them and know them, I'm like, oh my God, I always wanted this.
Yes.
But it was never something I deliberately asked for. It manifested in that way. And so that's what Cass means by, there's something better. You don't know all the information. We don't even know everything we want.
Right. We don't. Like, we just think we know what's going to make us happy next most of the time. And often we're focused on one thing and we don't focus on the whole puzzle. But once you learn to open up and you're looking at the puzzle, and that's the other thing that helps helps with all this too, right? Is that when you're looking at the whole puzzle, when one piece isn't fitting like you think, you can fix the rest of the puzzle and you realize maybe that piece goes somewhere else. You know?
Wasn't the exact piece. Yeah. All right. Do you want to kind of bring it back to this idea of like, if there was an experience in the past and not wanting to create that in the future? Oh, let's read our question.
Yeah. Your perfect timing. I was about to say, let's read this. Okay. So this was somebody who joined the group, said, I'm excited to learn where to start. I am 7 months pregnant right now, which means that my life will be changing pretty drastically. I also suffered from postpartum depression with my first kiddo. So how to manifest and work through that? And I love this question, right? Because as deliberate creators, we're like, okay, I know I don't want that again. So how do I go about having that not happen? How do I create something different? Which is step one, is to really be clear. Well, there's a couple steps here. I don't know which one's step one, but you want to be clear that you want something different. I think the first place to start here is you don't want to manifest against something. You want to manifest towards what you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, like, even in that sentence, how do I not manifest this? Reorganize that question.
Yeah. So ask what is it that you want, right? And so when we look at anything, so whether it's postpartum depression or it's an interaction with our family, we have to ask ourselves what we want instead. Right. And so many times people go, well, I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to be like that. I don't want this. Okay, cool. What do you want? Right. And keep asking yourself that.
Yeah. I love that. I had one client reach out about a year ago because a very similar thing. She had a hard pregnancy and they wanted to have another kid. And she's like, I just don't want to create that same experience. So what can I do to create a different experience so I don't have such a hard pregnancy? And one of the things, obviously, we did the work of her finding alignment with her true self and just being more in alignment in general in her life, taking that problem off the table for a little bit until she found alignment. And one of the things was, it's about, I don't know if it's a full year later, but when she's thinking about it now, she's thinking about it from a different vibration, so from a different place. So therefore, she's higher on the scale and she doesn't have those same fears. So the longer time you spend in and focused upon the things you want and how you're feeling good and how things are working out and becoming this person and all of those good feelings, the other things don't carry as much weight. The fears, they don't just carry as much weight. And so now, when you're thinking about, it's not so much, you literally feel differently about getting pregnant or about that process or all of that.
Yeah. And so what would you say, like this person kind of has 2 months, right? So what would be your first advice?
I agree with your first advice.
Awesome.
Is to get off. Okay, so you know what you don't want. So what kind of experience do you want? And then realizing that it's becoming the person. So once you've clarified that experience, it's okay. Who do I need to be? What kind of person am I? What qualities do I have? How does she act? How does she think? How does she feel when that's her experience? When there's an easy pregnancy or when there's the being a mother of 2. And then, so because you can start being that right away.
Absolutely. And so what I want to clarify or highlight that Jenny said is it doesn't matter whether we have 2 months. It doesn't matter we have a week or a day or like we need our life to change tomorrow or we have like some time and we have a year. It's all the same. You have to become part of that person that you want to be. And for me, most people, I think what does that mom, like they go right to like, which with mom stuff, I think this is the hardest part, right? When it's new, that's the hardest part. Because you're taking, there's something new, there's literally a new human being in your life that you're managing, right? Everything's new, right? Go a little further out, like focus on being the mom of a 5 and a 3-year-old or you know, whatever that is, take it a little out where you have, it's easier to get to know that person because they've been like doing it longer, right? They've been doing it. Your future self has been doing it for a couple years. So it's easier to get to know them in that space and then start to become them now.
Yeah. I think another thing that might help in this situation or in these situations of when we're worried about creating the same experience, approach the new experience or the one that's coming up with curiosity. So you can, saying to yourself, like, I get to do this differently. And if you take the pressure off of yourself to do it perfectly, it's a lot easier to be in that allowing place and just say, this is an experience, like, I'm going to learn as I go. I'm going to be easy with myself and I'm going to be open to experiencing it differently. So even though I know we are in control and we are the deliberate creators, it's almost like you are passing off the responsibility for you to make it good or make it different. And it's kind of like, oh, if I just get out of the way, if I just like open up to experiencing something different, then it will come out because the universe wants you to have a good experience. And so we just get it. And the key in all of that is if you are playing in your head constantly, I'm worried about this. What if this happens? Like, I don't want to create this thing again. You can't experience anything different. And so your work in this is to be very disciplined about keeping your thoughts in a place and your feelings in a place of openness and alignment and allowing. So whatever's meant to be will come through or can come through.
Mm-hmm. And really to stay present. I had a conversation with one of my clients a couple weeks ago, and she was traveling with her sister. And they've traveled together before, and there's been some certain things that have gone on. And so she wanted advice. And the best advice is to see her today, right? Mm-hmm. Don't bring all of the other luggage, with you about who she's been. Like, be in the present with her. Make sure you're always like, don't get stuck. Don't get the stickiness of the past. Like, be present and be in this open space, like you just talked about what could be, right? Instead of making the decision like, oh, she's going to be like this. She's not going to want to go eat at this restaurant. She's not going to want to do this. Like, she's not going to want to go on an adventure, right? Just stay in the present moment and see her today, right? Because you're not the same person you were 10 years ago, and neither is anyone else in your life. And so be present and give her the opportunity to be different. Because when we decide beforehand, it's not going to be different. It can't, like, that person doesn't have that open door to be different.
It's so much goodness in there with our experiences or with any relationship that you're having. If you want something different, don't bring the past into the present moment. Mm-hmm. Don't bring your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs about what has happened in the past. It has I don't know if you guys have heard us say this, but the past only exists because you are thinking about it in this moment. That's only real because you're bringing it up right now. Because all we ever have is right now. And if you kind of like cut off, I'm just going to leave all that stuff, all the ways I thought about this or any experiences I've had in the past, I'm going to leave that there. And this experience, this moment is new. This weekend with my sister is new. This baby coming is new. Like, it all gets to be new, and you hold that space and you base I know this is easier said than done, but it happens with practice. So with your awareness and with just practicing this, can this moment be new? And I'm going to give space for this experience to be new. And yeah, so much goodness, because we so often create from our past. And if we're looking at what's happening now in our life, if we're even looking at now and we're saying, oh, this is what that means, what happens now is created in the past. It's showing up and it's already been created. So it's kind of like an old manifestation. Mm-hmm. And you want to look at what is now and feel how you want to feel so that you can create more of what you want in the future.
Yes. I love it. And before we get over, I just want to bring up the one last point that we had talked about and we actually started talking about, which is in a situation like this, and most situations I think this can be applied to, but where there's a factor, maybe postpartum is just like that's the thing. And so one of the things you can do is surrender to that. And instead of focus on all the things we just said and surrender. So if that happens again, okay, cool. How do I make it different this time? Right?
Yes.
And you can do this. So, okay, great. I'm going to plan some people to come in at certain times, right? And whether or not that's because there's a postpartum situation or whether that's just to give mom a break, right? Like, no matter what manifests, it can be awesome. And to really surrender and just make a plan that feels good and know that you're going to get to the other side of it. Same with going on vacation with someone in your life. You can plan in some alone time. You can plan in some certain things. You can be clear, like, I'm going to do these 3 things are important to me. I'm going to do them no matter what. And honor that and allow the rest of the stuff to fall into place.
Yeah. I think one of the important things when we talk about surrender is that surrender isn't giving up what you want or the possibility of what you want, of the experience you want. It is, you're just not fighting what's showing up in the moment. You're saying this is okay. And in that is you taking responsibility. That is you owning your power because you're choosing your reaction. You're choosing your response. And instead of fighting it, you're saying, I'm going to let this be okay. And I'm going to surrender to this. And that is you being powerful.
Oh, because you're going to say, I just want to add this part. You're surrendering and you're saying, I'm going to be the most powerful version and I'm still going to create the best experience possible. Right?
Yes. And the other thing I want to touch on just with this specific example is I think a lot of people think it's not okay. Like there's a judgment with, oh my gosh, you have postpartum. That means you did something wrong. There's something wrong with you or anything. And
you didn't work LOA hard enough.
Right. I didn't. Yeah, exactly. And if that's showing up for you, or if you're looking at anyone else in your life, if you have other moms in your life that are going through that, be aware of if you're judging that as good or bad and be willing to take that judgment off because that's going to be the first step to opening up to actually feeling and surrendering and letting that be okay.
Yes. Always take the judgment off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we talked about.
We did. We covered a lot
of big stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I think anything else would just start a whole new topic.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
best to say goodbye where we're at a stopping point. Thank you for that listener that sent in that question. And thank you all for being here today.
Awesome. And have a happy birthday, Cass.
Have a happy birthday to you too, Jen.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Go be awesome. Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.